AWT, Almis Web Toolkit. The main objective of this video is to show how the toolkit works. So for that, we're going to set up an exercise to show how we can generate a window and its evolution. Firstly, the window contains different criteria types. There, we have to set up the title, the application we want, the type of module, and the data. In the grid filled in with SQL query, we have a grid and a search button. When clicking on the search button, the grid will be filled in with the data the SQL query recovers. In the grid filled in with a Java service, the data we see in the metrics is recovered by a Java service. And in the grid filled in with a web service, by clicking the search button, the grid is filled in with the data the web service recovers. So, how do we achieve this result with AWT? First of all, we add a window with a criteria, and we add a tag, so this way we can divide the criteria in lines. Now, we add a text and suggest type criteria. Then we add another tag, to which we add selector and suggest type criteria. Here we can see the result, where we can find the criteria but without any label or data. Set labels for criteria. We click on the editor. By clicking on the element and pressing the edit button, we can edit all the attributes of that element. In the literal attribute, we select the label referencing and we accept. This process will be repeated for all the elements. As a result, all the criteria have a label. Add buttons. We drag and drop two buttons from the generator. From the editor, we assign a literal for each one. One will be search. The other one will be reset. When we view the result, we can see that both buttons have been added, but they do nothing for the moment. Add a tab with a grid. In general, tags are added so we are able to have several tabs with several elements. We add the grid and the columns too. Now we can view the result in the screen. Create SQL query. We add the tables. In the database, we can find some existing tables to choose. Now we add the fields. When defining the fields, it shows us the existings in the tables we have previously added. We add a field for each column we have previously added in the Windows grid. The alias of the field has to match with the name we have given to the column. We add filters. This is used to filter the data depending on the criteria selected in the window. The filters are added among them with connectors and/or. For each filter, we indicate the condition we want to achieve. Add variables. The variables are the ones previously indicated in the filters of the query. We define the type and the name. The name must match with the name used to create the criterion in the window. We confirm to save the query. And now you are able to view the generated SQL query. Link grid and SQL query. We have to go to the Windows generator. With the editor, we edit the grid's attributes. We select the services action, which will be data type, and the identifier of the query we have just generated. Now we can view the result. If we click the search button, we can see the data the query returns, filtered by the criteria. Create Java service. To be able to create a Java service, we have to indicate the service name and the type. We also have to indicate the Java class, which is going to be named and whose method will be executed to recover the data. Then we define the parameters to be able to filter the data depending on the selected criteria in the window. Link grid and Java service. Firstly, we have to position us in the screen's generator. With the editor, we have to edit the grid's attributes. Then we select the service action, which will be data type, and identifier of the Java service we have already generated. When we view the result, if we click on the search button, we will be able to see the data the Java service returns, filtered by the criteria. Create web service. If we want to create a web service, we have to indicate the service name and the type. Then we have to indicate the name of the web service call and the web service type, which will be data in this case. To finish, we have to define the parameters to be filtered, following the same process as in the Java service point. Define the web service call. When we want to define the web service call, we have to indicate the name and the type of the web service. We also have to indicate the C function named to recover the data. And the parameters to filter the data have to be defined. Link grid and web service. In this case, we have to go to the screen's generator. In the details part, we edit the grid's attributes. Then we select the service action, which will be data type, and identifier of the web service we have just generated. So when we view the achieved result, when clicking the search button, we will be able to view the data the web service returns, filtered by the criteria.